So how many CEOs does a state-owned entity need? Well, if you're the petroleum and oil company of South Africa, PetroSA, the answer seems to be 3. I'll explain. In 2020, PetroSA got a new CEO, Pragesan Naidu. It was the first time that PetroSA had had a permanent CEO since 2014. But only 2 years into his 5-year contract, PetroSA decided they wanted him gone. Now, they never explained the reasons, but there were rumors that he had received a golden handshake in order to leave. Parliament tried to get answers, but PetroSA refused to disclose the details, calling it confidential and very secret. Well, we've seen PetroSA's financial statements, and it shows that Naidu got an 11.4 million rand ex gratia payment on top of his 2.5 million rand salary. Essentially what that means is PetroSA had no legal obligation to make the payment, but they still paid him out the equivalent of a salary until 2027. Fast forward to April 2024, and PetroSA got a new permanent CEO, Xolile Sizani. But only 6 months into his contract, PetroSA suspended him.
When you put the CEO on suspension, on its own, it sends a very strong message and very serious concerns about the stability at the level of the leadership. More so that this CEO has been in office only for, 8 months.
Now, we've seen a copy of his suspension letter, and the charges are flimsy at best. But PetroSA told Parliament that it needed time to investigate.
The chair of PetroSA says it's a labor relations matter. We don't think we must divulge the information. If we want it, we'll get it. There's no such thing that you can't divulge this information, not here in Parliament. Not here.
Last month, he approached the Western Cape High Court in a bid to have his suspension overturned. But the court refused, saying he hadn't proved that his case was urgent. PetroSA now says it'll take 6 months to a year to complete the disciplinary process against Sizani. And until then, he's sitting at home on suspension, earning his 5 million rand a year salary. Which brings us to CEO number 3, Sisako Makgadla. Now, she's a controversial choice. Until recently, she was the acting COO of PetroSA, and she was also the project sponsor who oversaw 3 disastrous deals, including with Russia's Gazprom Bank and soccer boss Lawrence Mulaudzi. Now, all 3 deals with Gazprom Bank, Equator, and Equateza have since collapsed. Ironically, one of the reasons that the previous CEO, Sizani, was suspended was because he had tried to get rid of Makgadla, which curiously had led Minerals and Energy Minister Gwede Mantashe to intervene.
If a new CEO who is having 120 days and 120 so many days has a fight in the new responsibility, that in itself is unique. It reflects on the character of the CEO. And I have a responsibility to guide us. So listen, man. Listen first. Don't walk in there and try to kick everybody on the backside. Sometimes CEOs listen, sometimes they don't.
Now, Makgadla is back in charge of PetroSA. The last time she was at PetroSA, she was the highest paid employee. She got a base salary of 2.6 million rand a year, an acting allowance of 1.9 million rand, as well as 600,000 rand in performance bonuses, all while overseeing the worst deals in PetroSA's recent history.
Amabungane, digging dung, fertilizing democracy.